Yo, what's going on, guys? So literally while I was recording the other video, this blog came out, and this blog is talking about a bunch of things that are completely new to the next gen version of the game, which only goes even more to what I was saying earlier about how the game is actually different than what you guys think it is, and you think it's just going to be a fucking remaster. When the next gen comes out, it's going to be completely different, and it's proven in this blog. This blog literally went so in depth, and I'm going to completely break it down for you. So first off, the Pro Stick, which is kind of the thing they've been shoving down our throat. They always have some skill gap mechanic that they want to introduce, and this year it's shooting with the right stick, where you can aim it to the left or the right. Now they gave you a little bit more control here, so now you can actually shoot higher or lower and control the arc of your actual jump shot. You can even control whether you bank it or not, which I don't think is going to have much of a fucking impact on the game, and I don't think a lot of people are actually going to be using this new Pro Stick shooting anyway. How it feels in 2K21, the current gen version or the demo or whatever, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel polished, it feels pretty random. If you just stand completely still and then you pull up, sometimes it wants you to go to the left, but sometimes it wants you to go to the right, sometimes it wants you to just stay exactly where you're at, and you miss because of it, and it doesn't feel like they've put the necessary time into making it work. Then they went on to talk about the meter itself and how they used to have it to where it would scale depending on how many defenders you had around you, and now it doesn't do that. It's very more readable. When you get a green, it feels better and looks better. And going into the layups, they were kind of saying that people struggled with layup timing, which was never really a problem with me. I kind of know all the animations in the game, so I know which animation has what timing, and it's never been a problem. But apparently they think it's a really bad problem, so now, by default, if you're going to take a layup, you're not actually going to get a bar at all. There will be no timing, it'll just do the animation, you'll make it or you'll miss. But, of course, you can turn on the bar, you can turn on actually having control over your layups, and you can, apparently, as they say, end quote, you'll have a huge advantage in finishing tough, contact/contested layups over those who choose not to use it. So hopefully you can actually make hard layups in this game if you're skilled, which has never really been a thing in other 2Ks. You just kind of get aura-D'd by some kid that's near you. Then they went on to talk about how your character will be way more aware of the defenders around them. If a player is driving and there's a ton of defenders coming from the right side, they'll likely try to finish to their left, which is a great change. It's nice when you're watching my leagues or just bots play. If you're playing my career, you want them to feel more like actual players who are smart and not just something that you're taking advantage of for badges. Then they got into step backs, which I'm really excited about, because if you watched my other video today, I talked a little bit about that and my dislike for it. But now they have completely new step back animations. You can equip LeBron's, Luka's, some other people. And from these clips, you can see that they look way more realistic. They look faster. They're actually going in. It looks like a thing that they're finally understanding is a regular part of the NBA at this point. Along with this, they introduced the idea that there are two different types of pull-ups. Either you're not moving fast and you have control of it, or it's a situation where you're sprinting and it's much harder to have control of your shot, and it's just a much harder shot in general. Which is super great, because one of the worst things about 2K is the fact that it feels bad to take a good open pull-up jump shot, even though that is the fundamental thing to do sometimes. Next, they went into the three-point line recognition, which means that players will better be able to understand where the three-point line is, and you're going to take less shots on top of the line as opposed to right behind it. So step back animations, situations where you're on a catch and shoot, your character should no longer be sitting on top of the line, and they should actually get their feet behind it, which is a great change. I'm so glad that they're actually recognizing things that are problems in the game. Then they went into dribbling, which is another thing I'm super excited for. You're going to be able to change the speed of your dribbles, which is another thing that is super realistic in regular basketball. A lot of people on the planet Earth can do a crossover through the legs, but it's how you do it, and being able to change the speed of your dribbles that makes it more effective for Stephen Curry as opposed to Jimmy from down the street. So if you're flicking the stick slowly, your character is going to be able to do slow, lulling moves. And at any point, if you start flicking the stick faster, your character is going to be able to do the same exact animations, but much faster. Which, like I said, is just a complete realistic change. I'm so glad that they're looking at these problems. And with that, they went into a bunch of different animations that they're adding. They're introducing lateral step backs, and they have a bunch of different people's animations that you can choose from, along with signature quick stops, which you can do by tapping the left trigger. So little stop hesitations can actually be changed. You can have way more control over every single move that your character pulls off. Along with this, they went into passing and how now you can do off the ground lobs, off the backboard lobs, and they addressed how in 2K20, I'm just going to call it 2K20 because it's basically the same game, you probably had to have needle thread or at least gold before your character would actually whip passes around people and stop just throwing it through their face. They actually address how bounce passes felt bad, and now your character is actually going to be able to recognize the players that are around them. And the last thing they went on is about how when you catch lobs, it was kind of wonky before, and now characters are actually going to be able to stop, slow down, and change speeds based on where the ball is coming from or how slow the pass is, just to make the animation feel more authentic and that they're reacting to what is actually going on around them. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to be covering all the news we get about this game going forward, and I actually have a next-gen console pre-ordered, so I should be able to get authentic gameplay as soon as possible. But I'm going to leave the link to the blog in the description if you guys want to read that for yourselves. That's the end of the video, so fuck off.